Shut
So is
up.
that a good time to tell you that I don't have pants on?
You don't? Let me see.
All right, and that leads us into our movie for the week, which we chose a horror movie for our Halloween themed episodes. And this week we watched The Invisible Man.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna have a different opinion than y'all will on this one.
All right, this was
Really?
I think the roles are gonna be
review.
switched this week.
So for this part, I don't think y'all have to. For this part, y'all don't have to worry about spoilers or anything. Feel free to tune in. Let me start. Y'all were both concerned that I wouldn't like this movie, but this movie was like right up my alley. I love this movie because it was purely like psychological. Yeah, it was just a woman getting tortured mentally. Like that's
I didn't know if you'd like the modern take on it.
Oh, I love the modern take on it. I think they did the modern. I think the modern take on it was better than what they did in the original movie.
I think that was the best way they could have done it. Honestly.
Yeah,
I think the way they did it
surprised me how good they did it, like in the modern way.
Me too. I'm really impressed by this remake. Like this is one of the remakes where I think they did the remake a little bit better than the original.
Yeah,
so
and I can agree with that.
I was just gonna say for the people that haven't seen it. So we watched Invisible Man, and basically, this lady, I guess she got abused from her husband, like a lot.
Yeah.
And she ran away, and she drugged.
She was basically controlled by him.
Yeah, this isn't a spoiler, but she drugged him and then ran away, and then basically he became invisible and kind of haunted her, except he was alive. He's not like a ghost.
He stalked her and basically did everything possible to make her appear crazy to the outside world and to make her feel crazy.
And ruin her life.
It was crazy. It was crazy because you never know when he was in the room or when he wasn't, because he was completely invisible. So you never know when she was alone or if she wasn't or not.
Technically, I think this movie was like almost perfect. Like the way they executed all their shots, the way it looked, sounded, everything felt good. Like I like how they left it pretty quiet. Like they didn't have background music for a lot of it. So the stillness made it feel very like
eerie. It was it's
tense. Like
it messes with your mind because I really love the shots where it would show a chair or just a different perspective, like away from the main characters, but show them like in the distance or something, because like trying to perceive the perspective of either the Invisible Man or, like I said with the chair, it gets in your mind because you're like, is he there? Is he not there? Is he watching right now? Is he not watching right now?
And I like the way that they filmed him being invisible. Like the way they did it, they shot it as if someone was there. So you, as a viewer, would know, like, they're right there because, like, they shot it following them as if they were following an actor that was actually there. And I thought that just added to the feel. So that, on top of, like, the dead silence, which made any noise, like, 10 times louder in your ears by comparison, like, it just, the whole thing was filmed pretty well. The only issue I had was with the CGI on the suit whenever it was glitching out or it was being worn.
Wait, is that a spoiler?
I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, that's a spoiler.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to cut that part.
Later. Yeah, we'll say that for later.
Okay.
For now, I'll just say the CGI was kind of off at points, but it was only towards the very end. Other than that, everything was super solid.
We need our own expert on every movie, just like CGI expert Rocha. Give his take. But who is it? Elizabeth Moss. She did a real good job, in my opinion. The actress.
Oh yeah, she did.
She did a great job. She did a great job.
I think, was she on Handmaid's Tale? She was on something on Hulu. I never watched it, but I know she did something.
I think I've seen her in a couple other movies too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen her before. But she did really good.
There are a few things I didn't like about the movie though.
All the actors did a really good job.
By the way, her friend that she was staying with in the movie, that's the guy that's going to play Hawkman.
Really,
Really?
Yeah,
he was one of my favorites in that movie. Honest, like he had one of my favorite
he
characters.
did. Yeah.
I was gonna say
Dude, he played
I
it
saw
really
the
well.
cast list. I saw the cast list before the movie, and I kept watching him because
that
I
makes
was
me
like,
excited
we
for
just announced him.
because he did
Yeah,
a really
he
good
did
that's what I
good.
thought.
He didn't even have that much screen time, and he still did great.
No, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He didn't have a lot of screen time, but he did real good for what he had.
There's one more thing I was gonna say, but you interrupted me with the Hawkman thing, and I lost my train of thought. God damn it, Noah.
I'm so sorry.
So,
Dude,
some of the things that I didn't like about it is I feel like one thing is the main character did like the stereotypical stuff in a horror movie. Like she went, okay, like the doors open, so she went and looked outside, right? Or she heard something in the attic, so I guess we shouldn't say that. Cut that part out. But she heard something and she went and checked it out every single time. Basically, whatever he wanted her to do, she did, and I didn't like that. You know, because she did some really stupid stuff. I feel like following his.
Well, I don't think
his sounds or whatever.
She doesn't. But the whole time she doesn't know anyone's there. It's just
She
like curiosity.
does.
Like, dude, if my front door was open, I'd go outside, be like, someone there.
I don't know, because everything was kind of
going
weird in her kitchen before that.
And that's the thing, is they made her character this super paranoid, crazy, like super twitchy, jumpy person, to the point where she's like, she hates the person that she thinks is haunting her. So it would make her more inclined to check it out and be like, God, I know you're here. I'm gonna throw hands with you. I just need to find out where you're at.
I feel like she knew, though. I didn't feel like she thought
did know
he was watching her. She knew. And
that's exactly why she went to go check it out, because she knew
that
he was there.
So why would she follow everything?
Because she was trying to find proof that he was there, so everyone around her would believe her. Because she knew he was there, but there's nothing she could do unless she found proof that he was there too. That's why she went following him around, because she knew no matter what she did, if she ignored, tried to run, he would always be there. So he was trying to find proof
I feel like that
way they would do something about it.
But not in the first half.
That was the entire premise of the movie.
No, are you talking about like the very first, like when she first got to the house and stuff?
Yeah.
Because she was still, but that still makes sense though, because she just escaped from there, which is not a spoiler. We already told y'all this. She just escaped from her boyfriend, husband, whatever, and she's incredibly paranoid because of how the years he's been controlling her. So like that door thing in the very beginning of the movie, like she never found out about he was the Invisible Man for a good while. It was just a paranoia, like Edward was saying.
Another thing I didn't like at first, but I kind of understand now, is he didn't talk at all. And I know that he did that to kind of like to make her think she was crazy. But there's one point in the movie where he kind of proves, like, he's like, I'm here. I'm not going to say how he proves that, but he proves it, you know? Mm-hmm. And by this time, both of them know that she knows he's there. And he still never talks to her. Not even when in the second half, when she went to that place, not even that. He said like one word, but.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the point was.
I didn't understand that either.
The point was to make her feel unsure about herself. Like the whole time she thought she was 90% sure that it was him. But since he never said anything, she was never 100%. So.
And because of her history with all that.
Stalker-esque feeling, like.
Yeah.
And nobody in the movie seemed to believe her because of her history with all that.
Also, they were also doing like the typical horror movie thing where you don't reveal your monster in the first 2 acts of the movie. And that was part of them revealing their monster, was keeping the voice and sounds hidden from it.
Yeah.
Smart. And then this is like kind of the last thing I didn't like, is I feel like there was a lot of stuff that just didn't add up. I'm going to say
I would save that for the spoiler.
I'm going to save it for the spoiler, actually.
Yeah. There's one complaint I hear, and I didn't have that because, well, you'll see. So I hear a lot of people saying that the people that watched the trailer gave away so much that they didn't enjoy the movie as much, but I didn't watch the trailer, so.
I didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it to the full extent. But, yeah, I didn't know that. what did we talk about? It was very. They built up tension real good too.
Yeah,
And
they did do that well.
I love the first half of the movie because they did his because like we said, we don't know if he's actually there or not, first of all, and second of all, like when he actually did do something, it was when we least expected it.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I absolutely love how frustrating they made it feel, not just for the viewer, but the way that they made the character feel frustrated too. Like we all knew what was happening, but
We're
no one
all
else
mad.
did, and we're just there like, God, she just do it. But it
She
totally
just showed
makes
you.
sense why no one else would believe it, right?
Yeah,
Because
no, it's
someone
insane.
came, yeah. So they just did like the perfect job of making it just frustrating enough to keep it entertaining and to keep the viewer like engaged, but not so frustrating that you're like, God, everyone's stupid, I hate it, and you just walk away. Like it was
And
naturally
Elizabeth Moss sold
frustrating.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
She sold it. That's about it, really.
I think this is one of my after watching this is one of my favorite horror movies that I've seen in recent.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Easily.
For sure. For sure.
It was
I
a perfect it was a perfect blend of like the action build up, like in the final act where all the action and stuff happened, it felt natural. And all before that, it was the psychological mental toying with building up that led to that like just made it like an amazing movie.
This might just be me, and I loved the movie, like both halves of the movie, but I gave the slight edge to the first half, barely, slightly, just because of all the psychological crap at the beginning. Because I was like, bro, is he there? Is he not? And I just love the concept of not knowing that.
You see, and
I love that. I think. Go ahead, Edward.
I was gonna say I give it to the first half too, but only because the CGI that was kind of tweaky happened in the second half. But story-wise, they were both equally compelling, start to finish.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't pull me out of the story at all. I was invested in watching it.
I think one of my favorite things that they did is we keep talking and reiterating like over and over. There's like a first half and a second half, and there really is. You know, like the second part of the movie, it changes completely, but it doesn't change to the point where it's like
it feels like two different movies.
Like yeah. It builds up the entire first half. So everything that was happening in the first half built up to everything in the second. I love that. Like it was so smooth.
And then the what do you call it? Just all, and then it keeps you invested because I think like when the peaking point, when the first like twists come, and then when it goes all downhill, and then there's just a bunch of different little twists that come. You know what I'm saying? Like, it keeps you invested because like I was like, oh shoot, and then I was like, oh shoot, oh shoot.
And I feel like not all their cards were played at once, which I feel like is something that a lot of horror movies do. They really extended it, and I was
like they had a lot of foreshadowing in the front, but they didn't just dump everything out at once. Like they dropped it in little increments as it went on.
Yeah. And it's funny because like the first couple like 10, 20 minutes of the movie, I was like, this feels kind of predictable. And then they totally flipped my brain and it wasn't. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'm ready to go into spoilers.
Yeah, that's about it. Great movie. Deserves to watch. One of the best horror movies of this decade.
I want to give a rating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give it
a 9? I'd give it a 9.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Subject to change. Subject to change, but
you're with me. I haven't said anything yet.
I think we're both thinking the same thing. Like we're both struggling to put a number on it.
An 8 or a 9, I would say.
So I was before we started talking about it.
Yeah.
Before we started talking about it, I was ready to put this at like a 6 or a 7, and then kind of like all the things that I didn't like about it, as I heard y'all talking about it and explaining it, I feel like they planned everything I didn't like. I feel like they had planned to do it. They actually furthered the story. So y'all like changing my opinion, but I don't know if it's an 8.
We have civil discussion. I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, okay, I'll give it an 8. I was willing to go up for a 9.
I was too, but y'all gave me funny looks, so I was like, "Am I crazy?"
Well,
that's why I said subject to change, because usually once we go into the spoilers, it changes
I'll give
our minds.
it an 8 for spoiler-free review.
I think spoiler
and then
free.
we'll see.
I have almost no gripes with this movie, so I feel like I have to give it a 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially after how hard I harped on the movie the week before. I feel like these are like polar opposite movies.
Just don't watch the trailer, apparently.
Yeah, so if you guys did enjoy this spoiler-free review, I guess this is where it ends for y'all. So you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see y'all next week. And say hi to your moms for us.
Peace.
All right, now we're going to hop right into
Before
our spoilers.
Yes, sir.
Before we go into any like deep spoilers, I want to like just say the few things that I didn't like still, but I didn't say in the regular review.
Okay.
One of them is I felt like there were some dumb moments that just didn't make sense. Like when she went up to the attic, right, and he found the phone, and the phone had pictures in it. She didn't take it. She left the phone there. And I didn't understand that. I thought that was dumb. Because that's proof. And then also, she threw paint on him, right? And then he turned on the sink, and within like 2 seconds of the sink being on,
I said that too.
all his paint was washed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He just,
I thought about that too,
like,
but then later on, I just left it off to being like, it's whatever. They're just gonna come down to whatever the suit's made out of. I was like, whatever. Suit's probably just like drip resistant. I was like, whatever.
The other part, this was the last part.
Dude. Oh, sorry.
And I know it's not supposed to be super realistic in this aspect of it, but there were times where he was invisible that people should have known he was there. The first example that comes to mind is when he hit the girl that she was living with, the little girl.
Oh yeah, that one.
That was
completely
obviously
threw me off.
no way.
Yeah, she was like,
that was crazy.
She was like, she hit me, and I was like, bro, you were looking right at her. You didn't see her raise an arm. What the hell?
Dude, I was like, bro, she was sitting there laying down and
like literally right after she was like, she hit me. I had to rewind because I was like, what the hell? Did he like grab her arm?
I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
At first, I was like, did he like pick up her arm and make her slap her like that? Or did he just straight? No, he just straight
up.
And then
maybe it's because she couldn't explain it herself, so she was just like, you did it.
And then like in the second half, more like at the dinner table with her sister, and
that part was crazy too.
Not necessarily at the end in the mental hospital because everyone found out anyways, but I feel like they would have looked back at cameras, you know, or I feel like someone would have saw it. But
nah, I don't think about that one. No one was looking at her. Like no one, like you saw, like even whenever she like fell over, no one noticed for like 10 seconds. Like if you're at a restaurant, are you really that aware of everyone around you? Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking when I watched it. Yeah.
But
bro, whenever that happened, like my jaw dropped. I was like, holy.
I rewatched that.
Me too. I did not expect that. That was one of those little twists that I was
like, was crazy.
Like it was crazy. I saw the knife float and I was like, nah, and then just whomp, and I was like,
I saw the knife float. I thought it was gonna be like a threat, like he was gonna drop it or something.
Yeah, me too.
No, like, dude, he just straight up.
It was crazy. I don't know, but I'm kind of forgiving on some of those just because I feel like in that aspect, it's not supposed to be super realistic.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
but at the same time, that's the whole premise of the movie. I feel like it should have been more realistic. But
I thought it was pretty close for what it was given.
For the modern take on it, like we said earlier.
All right, so I guess if y'all are here, y'all know that this time instead of like injecting himself with like invisible serum, the Invisible Man was like an optometrist, and he made a suit out of like nothing but cameras, and the cameras are like projectors to where it like projects everything around it onto him, and that's how it makes it invisible. And I thought that was a pretty cool take. I thought that was the most realistic take that they could have gone with it. And I'm glad.
And it wasn't just a little bit invisible. It was just
I'm glad they went with the. I'm glad they went with a more realistic take than the invisible juice that they did in the original. So I'm really happy about that. But
I was
I don't know if y'all noticed this too, but like whenever at the end and they showed him like his suit was glitching out and they had to show him like moving and stuff in the suit, like it looked super unnatural. Like it looked like like they didn't have any weight to their movements, so everything looked like super like they were just floating around. And
What
that was the part of the
at
CGI I
What
didn't like.
the suit or
The suit,
the suit?
whenever they showed him having it
Suit.
on, it did not move like a normal thing would.
I thought the suit looked amazing.
No, he's saying the movement.
The CGI on the suit. Like the suit looked
Right.
great. The phasing in and out looked great. But whenever they were moving in it and it showed him like glitching out and like turning his body and stuff in it, it didn't look natural.
Didn't look
at all.
natural.
Like it looked
Yeah.
like
I didn't
he didn't have any weight to his body. Like, which, like, it's forgivable because it still looked really cool. But at the same time, in my head, I'm like, how do you had to have fully CGI'd out in order to get it to feel weightless like that, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you showed you had a real suit.
Yeah, you showed a
in
practical
production.
suit.
They had a practical suit, and I'm like, why didn't you use the practical suit and just key it out for the shots and do it like that? That way you didn't have to full
idea.
CGI and risk it being
That's a good
weightless.
idea. I don't.
But I'm also not a big time movie engineer, but that just seemed like something that was like, I was like, I think you should have been able to do that a little bit better, but at the same time, it wasn't like bad. I can do better fake blood than that, you know?
Yeah. And the whole thing with Adrian's brother, that he was like helping him do all that.
Bro, that was sick.
That was unexpected. That when he was like, okay, here are your options, and then he like told on himself, I was super surprised.
I feel like I just have to explain like some of the stuff that they like super foreshadowed in here, right? Like they foreshadowed the pregnancy, right? Whenever she was talking about them wanting to get pregnant, how she was secretly on birth control, and then they reveal that she's actually pregnant, right?
Yep.
And that he had like found out that she was using it and like replaced it with like sugar pills or something, right? Then they continue to foreshadow with that by like having her like overdose on those pregnancy pills, right? Or was it the right? It was
No, it was it was,
or was the drug that she used to
drug,
make other dude pass out, right?
Whatever it was called, the prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, that is a foreshadow.
Which made him
not catch that.
And it made her seem crazy because they found it in her possession.
Yeah, and then they tease the suit being made of cameras by at the beginning whenever she's at first in the house and she like freaks, she's super paranoid and she paints over the camera on her laptop. That way because she was paranoid about being stalked and she didn't want them watching her. So she painted over the camera, which teased the whole suit being made out of cameras later.
And I
thought made that reveal even cooler.
Yeah, when she was leaving the house, she had stopped and looked at the suit that was invisible in that little chamber. Like she was just like staring at it, but like obviously we didn't really know. But that's what I thought. I bet that's like that's where the suit is or something.
Y'all really caught things more. That was no foreshadowing to me. Like the camera, that's just a normal thing to me. Like a lot of people cover their cameras anyways because they don't want to be watched. And then I didn't even think of anything when she went in the room until she pressed the button and it revealed the suit. I didn't even think of anything.
Dude, when she went, how when she went. Sorry, go ahead.
And they did more foreshadowing whenever they said like the Invisible Man had like whenever he faked his death, how he like killed himself by like slitting his wrist in the shower. But later on in the mental hospital, she gets him to bait by slitting her wrist in the shower. Like
either.
The exact same way he did is how she baited him into coming.
I honestly forgot that's how he killed himself, or quote unquote.
And the dog too, like at the beginning, she took the electric collar off the dog, and the dog ended up helping her by being, because you know dogs can sense people better than people can and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one.
Dang. Y'all got deep into this.
No,
psychological, bro.
That's why I love this movie so much. It's because they did so many little things and they paid off like as it went on. And each time I was like, hey, they did that. Hey,
I feel like if I did watch it again, we'd see even more.
The Invisible. I mean, the director knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah, it was like, this is why I said this is one of my favorite horror movies I've ever seen, because of how in detail they went, how like they did such a good job. Like, you know how I say, like, I watch scary movies and I never like feel like that scaredness or whatever, but I felt really
Yeah.
uneasy watching this in my room. Like, I was like, bro, nah, this
That's
is
what I'm
like,
saying.
they
The
did a good job of
concept is
throwing
just
you off
crazy.
edge.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at
I
this.
will
They
say the
worked
other
on.
thing I didn't like
Mhm.
was some of the fight scenes while he was invisible. And I get he's
Oh,
invisible, and so the actors have no idea where he would be at, but like, it straight up looked like they had no idea where they were at. Like, sometimes I would be like, oh, well, if he's pinning their arms down, he has to be like hunched over her. But then she would like swing randomly and wouldn't connect with anything. And I'm like, what
or when
body movements is this dude doing that he's holding her arm and leg down at the same time, but he's not above her?
And then not being hit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
or
but I
notice
was
that
like,
or
too.
when he was
Or
dragging her by the leg and she wasn't like trying to kick him with the other leg, or
the same thing with the guy with the dad.
yeah, like whenever he was getting
yeah,
his
He
butt
was
beat
kicking
in,
and he
he didn't
like,
let.
it just threw me out. Like, I
he
feel like
couldn't hit.
that's what I mean. I feel like some of those hits should have landed by like me trying to see what position you would need to be to drag him around. I was like, I
Right.
feel like some of those should have hit there. I feel like they could have
You're right.
coordinated those a little bit better,
Yeah.
because that's all coordination, right? You could have been like, hey, so for this scene, they're going to be dragging you. So whenever they're dragging you, I want you to hit around where they would be if they were looking over you, instead of just having them flail all over the place.
Yeah.
But at the same
I
time, it
guess
was like,
maybe that.
maybe I'm imagining the person being in the wrong place and the director has like a different place they were looking, and I'm just like completely can't I'm so set in what I think they should be that I have no idea where the director thought they should be, you know?
I was gonna say, or maybe for some of it, it was just like their psyche. Like if that was real life, like they're so terrified they don't know what's grabbing them, or what's going on, so they're just like flailing around.
Well,
Maybe.
that's what I mean, but I
But
feel
I
like some
feel
of their
even then when you're
flails
just
should
like
have
if you
hit,
just hit
is my
forward,
thing.
just
Yeah.
hit go. Like
Yeah.
anyways. Like no matter what.
But like I
Okay, I
said,
wanna talk
I
about
let that pass because I feel like maybe there is a completely natural position they could be in that they're just missing like that, and I just can't visualize it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I understand. Understandable. What's up, Anthony?
I was just gonna say, unless y'all have specific things you want to talk about, I want to talk about the mental hospital scene and towards the end because I feel like I have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
or at least, or hear y'all talk about it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
First of all, just what did y'all think of the whole freaking slaughterhouse in the hospital?
Dude, that was crazy.
Dude, that was crazy.
It was so good because, like,
Yeah.
realistically, I thought it showed off how much of a threat, like, someone, like, a normal person could be if they were, like, completely invisible. Like, that's
Mhm.
100%
Yeah.
how it would go down. Like, no one would be
And-
able to see you. You just pop. They're like, oh, he must be there. And they're like, oh, okay.
Dude, it was
Yeah.
so sad the way he teased them though. Like that one guy he shot in the head.
Right?
Yeah.
He was like,
The
And
guy
he
was
walked
like,
away.
eh.
He walked away.
he's like, I know you're
got
here, and
you.
he's like,
Bop. Okay, that part was
Every
frustrating.
time new cops would come.
The frustrating
What?
part was that part right there where he was teasing that guy, like waving the gun in his face. And I'm like wondering what the girl was doing, because the girl can see that he's holding the gun, right? Which means she knows where he's standing. She had
oh yeah,
like
Sure.
4 guns right in front of her that she could have just picked up and just popped off right there and would have
yeah,
hit.
because all the dead bodies.
Because she saw where he was at because the thing's floating. So you're like, oh, that's a hand. That means like 2 inches to the left is the body. Just shoot there. But she just sat there instead.
Yeah.
And then after he left, she was like, all right, time to go. And I was like,
They have
And it was
to,
also weird because he must have been really strong. Because some of those would be like one punch and then they're dead or they're knocked out.
right?
Like some of those punches would have had to be
the
strong.
dude was one
Like-
punch man.
But every time a new cop, or right before new cops would come,
Mhm.
I would think that a bunch would come and he'd get caught every single time. But then it was just waves at a time. I kind of thought
Yeah.
that was weird.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you think about it, how security works is like they'll definitely split
That's
up
how
like
it would
groups of
work,
2,
yeah.
and then they'll like everyone go there. So the groups of 2 would like get there at different times. So I guess that
right.
would make sense.
I love the attention to detail it had with every single time the Invisible Man like spoke, like used his actual voice by saying like surprise or like teasing those guys because what's her name? The girl Cecilia, she picked up on it at the very end. Like that's how she figured out like he actually did do it. And she wasn't crazy because he slipped up and was doing that.
I like how smart they had him be too. Like he wasn't just
Yeah.
gullible. Like he didn't just like do the villain thing where he was like, "Yeah, I admit it. I was just messing with you." Like he knew that she was up to something, so he told her the truth. But he told her the truth
He said it very
in a
yeah,
cryptic way to where she would
Mhm.
know. But if she
Yeah.
was wearing a wire, the person listening would have no proof.
I
That was
also
another
love
thing that they foreshadowed. That was a pretty bigger foreshadow, where she hid the second suit that he
yeah,
had
that's
made,
what I was gonna say.
and she used
Yeah,
that later
I
on.
did notice that.
And the whole time they were like looking for proof that it was him, and I was like, "Bro, just tell him where the suit is." And then I was like, "Oh wait, there was two suits." Like it took me a
Yeah.
second to realize there were two suits because whenever she found the suit, I thought it was just like,
She left it and then she went to the bathroom, but she actually put it
Yeah.
on. That's when she went to put it on. That surprised me because I was expecting something crazy, but I forgot about that scene.
me too.
So when he just died, I was like
All right.
oh shoot. I was like, oh shoot. And then since she knew those cameras and since he died with no one around, she was like, oh, he committed suicide.
Yeah.
That was
And
another
Even
part
though
of
the
the
one
way
guy
that
knew,
she killed him.
James knew.
I like
Yeah.
how they like mirrored the way that he killed her sister.
His sister.
The
Like
sister,
over
yeah,
dinner
yeah.
with the knife slit throat. Like it was completely identical to the way that they made it look.
Mhm. You really feel bad for that girl.
Right?
Yeah,
She,
really bad.
she lost everything, dude, and no one could help her.
So
So it was just satisfying, that ending.
I have two pretty big theories for the ending of how it ended. One
You
of
have
them is
what?
my theory, the other isn't. But theories on what the ending meant.
What do
Okay.
you mean?
So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so at the very, very end, when she was walking away and she's talking to James, she was like, that sounded like a suicide to me, don't you think? It was almost like it was a threat. Like she said it almost as if it was a threat. Like she's kept the suit. I feel like she kept the suit. I really do.
Well, she did. She
And
walked
then
away with
she
it.
was walking away.
Yeah, she walked away with it
Okay, well, now
in
you're
her
right.
purse.
I don't remember that. But I feel like she almost said that as a threat to him. And then at the very end, she was like smiling, almost like she was like it felt good to kill him. But
Well,
I feel like she is gonna use the suit because she's at this point she's not stable. She's not emotionally stable. Even after everyone's believing her, she went through so much, and I feel like
No,
she could become a murderer, like with the suit. I just feel like it.
I see what you're saying, but the whole emphasis of her going back and killing him was so she can finally feel like she's free from him.
Yeah. Like
Right. But
now
I
that
still,
she knows
even
that,
then, with all that trauma, you're never gonna be the same.
well, she
And
didn't
she was
say it.
like,
She didn't say it like a threat. The reason she
Yeah.
said it was because there was a wire on her. So she was trying to get the witness to be like to agree with her. So whenever they had both proof, they take it to the police. It's like double evidence. They're like, "Yep, that's what I heard." That's what she was trying to get was a confirmation.
That's why they were so cryptic
Possibly.
whenever like him
Yeah.
and the husband were talking or whatever. And even when she killed him, she acted like she was so shocked and like crying.
She did
about his
that
death.
good.
Right?
Yeah, she's a good
She
actress.
did that really good.
And so he was like, "Oh, well, that sounded like a suicide." I feel like he knew that she killed him, but she, like since they're like
that's how
knows
come-
about it, yeah,
He knew she killed her. That's how come she was like, "Yeah, it was a suicide, right?" Wink, wink.
yeah.
It was more
He
of
was
a
like, yeah,
it was
Right?
more,
yeah.
It was more of a wink than it was a threat. Is what
That's
it
what
was.
I mean, yeah.
That's fair.
And then she was like, "Yeah, didn't it sound like it?" And he's like, "It did."
Like, you know
that
what?
was a suicide.
All right. But
Okay.
the reason that she smiled at the end was because she got that relief. Like she had been
Yeah,
tortured
I know
mentally.
that, but
she's free.
I just feel like there was another. Like,
Oh, I'm sure she enjoyed
meaning
killing
behind
him.
the smile.
She definitely 100% enjoyed killing him. Like that definitely
And
made her
once
happy.
you do that, you're not going back. You know.
But
She
I
was
don't
meant-
think. But she doesn't have any reason to kill anyone else, is what I mean.
Yeah, she doesn't have any reason. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
She was
If she
mentally
wanted
and
to.
physically abused.
And then, okay, here's the other theory. And movies have done this before in the past. And I didn't believe first and sleep on it. I'm like, okay, this might be possible. But ever since she faked her suicide to draw him out in the shower, you know what I'm talking about, in the mental hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
From that point all the way to the end is just her imagination. That none of that actually happened. That was all her. That was what she feels like revenge on him would seem like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how to
I'm gonna
explain it.
have
I've
pass on
read.
that one.
Yeah. No, I
Dude,
don't
okay.
think. I don't know about that one.
I didn't.
All I
think
gotta
so
say is she
either,
was a
but then I was like-
champion
I
for
was
running
looking
around
into
with
it.
her wrist like that. Because she never got it fixed.
Alright.
Like she
I
didn't
was
take it anyone.
okay. Wait. I was reading on into it. There's a lot of people who think that. Like there are like multiple like different websites that I went to that all are like, yeah, this is probably true. Like this could be true.
Well,
I'm
I'm
going
sure.
into Joker level territory.
But
I'm just saying.
sure. I'm sure. Like there's a logical reason for people to think that, but I don't think that that's what happened.
Hey, I don't know. I'm just saying that's a possibility too.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense because it had a happy ending, and most people don't want a happy ending to movies like this. But
It was satisfying, yeah.
I think it worked.
This is random, but I thought it was kind of funny where they were talking to the brother because she was getting her husband's will or whatever, the money for like months, and then she's like no, how is he dead? And she's like, well, his ashes are over there. So
Dude, that made me laugh, dude. I was like,
yeah. He was like, so you want to tell it to the ashes?
I'm gonna see what rating I gave Uncut Gems real quick before I give my final.
I'm gonna find that article.
Yeah, talking with y'all, there wasn't really. We were just being really picky, like nitpicking.
Oh, you didn't. You know what? I'm gonna go with a 9 for this one.
Yeah,
for sure.
I was gonna say I'm
give it
gonna
a 9.
stick with a 9.
I'm gonna stick
I'm
with
stick
a
with
9.
a 9.
I don't remember what I gave the other movies.
Oh, this one's definitely a 9 for me. This is
Yeah.
definitely up there as one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen, even on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like this is a
Same
movie I
here.
could see myself rewatching a few different times and still thoroughly enjoying. There's probably more stuff that I missed in there too. Like you thought I caught a lot of stuff, but I bet there's a lot of stuff that I still missed too.
Yeah.
Or don't
gonna-
remember.
Check my
I
little
agree with that.
post
And I think
notes.
that's the reason I'm gonna give it a 9, just because of the replayability. Like you could definitely go back and find like a lot more foreshadowing, and that's the reason I give it a 9.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you heard it
trying
here.
to-
It's a full. We've reached a consensus. It is a unanimous 9
9.
for The Invisible Man. This is one of the, I think, other than the Karate Kid, I think this is the second highest rated movie on average that we've given this.
On average,
podcast.
probably, yeah.
Yeah. So we would highly recommend you guys check this movie out. So if you guys did enjoy watching, we are also putting out a bunch of YouTube content. So if you guys enjoy our personalities on the podcast, you can get a lot more over there on the YouTube, and we do post more than once a week. So
One thing, we're gonna be reviewing The Boys pretty soon because the last episode's next Friday. This Friday, sorry.
why did you cut in?
I'm sorry. I wanted to mention it.
And that's
All
all.
right, if you guys enjoyed watching, make sure y'all